Well, if you are a teacher that is in search of real life insights, some encouragement, and even strategies outside of what you may have learned in college, Things No One Teaches You About Teaching is a must read. Joining me right now is Low Country native, retired teacher, and author Jade Sheri Howard. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
You're doing well. That is so great. Now tell us, what was the inspiration behind this book? You taught for what, over 20 years?
Over
DD2?
20 years. Yes, ma'am. Well, about 20 years ago, I decided that I knew when I left the classroom that I wanted to mentor and support other teachers. And so I started writing down tidbits of advice that I wish I knew before I started. And I started keeping a running list in my phone as situations would arise, as things would come into my awareness, I would just write it down. And so then eventually the list got to 190 pieces of advice. And so what I did was put them in categories and then put them in a book.
Wow, I like this. Act, oh, and it just so happened I opened up to this one. Act as if you are excited about what you're teaching, even when you are not.
Amen.
And sometimes you had to draw on that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I can act like paint drying is exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, kids, we're going to talk about paint drying today.
There we go. I love it. I love it. But what has been your greatest joy as a teacher in DD2?
Oh, my greatest joy is seeing those light bulb moments. The moments when a kid transforms and becomes the best version of him or herself. When they grow up and they come back and they tell you that you made an impact in their lives and they become teachers themselves or they become doctors and nurses and business owners. My students are everywhere. I can't go anywhere without bumping into my students. So those moments make it all worthwhile. Yeah,
and your resume, just as far as your accomplishments and being nominated for District Teacher of the Year, and I could go on, that has kind of painted a picture, as we were talking about painted a picture of you having a lot of wisdom and passion for what you do and empathy. So is that a way that now with your writing, that is what you're doing? Because you have other books as well.
Yes. Well, I realized that I needed a way to supplement my income. And since I can no longer work in a traditional environment with my health problems, I decided to tap into my other gifts. And writing has always been a gift of mine, but I've always been kind of scared. And so finally, I just kind of stepped out on faith and put it out there. And I have no regrets. I feel so good about accomplishing something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a published author, always, but I never had time. I was always so busy. And so I guess, you know, sometimes God allows you to have to sit down.
I was going to bring that up.
And then when you have to be still, then you have time to quiet your mind enough to be able to write and be able to reflect. And I want to encourage people. So I want to continue my mission that I started in the classroom, educating, inspiring, and empowering people. And since I can't do it in a physical sense, I can do it with words.
With your words, because I was just going to ask you, did you think even with the health issues, that was a way so that you can get this out to the world? Yes,
I don't think I would have done it if it weren't for the things that have happened that have slowed me down. And I'm not saying I wish there would have been another way, but life happens and sometimes good things come from bad things.
Yes, they do. And so you have written a children's book?
Yes, my dogs.
About your dogs.
Champ and Sable.
Champ and Sable. You've also written a novelette for adolescents.
Yes, I wrote a story about a young girl in high school who has a perfection complex, who thinks that everything she does is supposed to be perfect. And it's called Perfect Imperfection. And I wrote this one for middle school and high school students. And because I wrote the kind of book that I would want my students to read. Something that encourages them and inspires them to be their best selves. Because a lot of young people beat themselves up because they're not perfect. And I still beat myself up about not being perfect.
We all
So that's a lesson that we can all take something from. That's a book we could all enjoy.
Okay, well, Jade Sheri Howard, Google her, find her, and where can folks find your books?
My books are on Amazon and on Lulu. My journals are on Lulu. And my hardback books are on Amazon.
All right, Jade Sheri Howard, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Anytime. All right, stay with us. Coming up.